Hi friends, it's Mona. So today I was going to show you real fast some of the pre-work before Sunday's live tutorial. And we are doing this love mold, and this is for like a Mother's Day gift. That's the idea, since Mother's Day will be next week. And so I have just mixed up 2 parts epoxy, and I did a video on how to tell how much fluid to use in here. I filled it with water, and I measured how much water it took, and then I made sure it completely dried out from the water. So this one takes right at 100 mLs, which would be 50 mLs of part A and 50 mLs of part B on this 2-part epoxy. So it is almost mixed. This one is some old stone coat art resin that I have that I need to use. And for this one, I'm asking that you do a silver glitter. Holographic is great because it matches the AB shine of these rhinestones. Because on Sunday we're going to put rhinestones on the front of this mold. And then the idea is that it's going to sit like on a shelf, or you can even hang it on the wall, that kind of thing. So that's what, so we'll do the front part of it on Sunday, but we need to pour this now. The sooner you pour it, the better, because when you go to unmold it, if it's not cured all the way, when you try to pull it out of the mold, it's going to kind of bend and get wonky and stuff. So the good part about it is the back side of the mold is what's here, so you don't really have to worry about a lot of bubbles, because nobody's really going to see that back side. So we need to add our color. So if you want to do different colors in here, that's fine, as long as you have some sort of silver paint, like an acrylic paint or a paint pen, that you can paint the front of it silver, because there's tiny little holes that you kind of really can't see in between the spaces of the rhinestones. And so if you had like a pink color behind it, then you would be able to see that. So what I'm going to do is, because I already have like 6 of these already silver ones, I'm going to do this one pink. But if you want like a holographic silver, this one's really pretty. You can do a chunky, but I just do like a fine one. And so there's also a fine line. Also, don't let your epoxy sit too long in the top cup because it will get hot. There's a fine line between how much is too much, and it's hard to tell, so I just kind of guesstimate. So I'm doing pink because I have silver paint that I can paint the front of this silver. If you don't have any silver, I suggest you do silver glitter. Now, Amy did not include the glitter in the Royal kit, but you did get the all the rhinestone supplies and the mold. And so if you don't have enough epoxy on hand, or you don't have time to do this step, I did find some alternatives at Dollar Tree. So if you wanted to run to Dollar Tree and get something, just for the rhinestones, you would need to paint it silver, whatever you would get from Dollar Tree, for them to look as good as they do on this. If your background is not silver, then they don't look as good. You'll also need a good flat, undisturbed surface for this to cure for at least 24 hours. And another thing is, do not use any kind of flame, torch, fire, nothing on this, because believe me, I have done it. It will melt your mold. And not only will it melt your mold will stick to your resin piece that's in there, so you'll ruin both the mold and the resin piece. And so I just advise that you use there's an alcohol bottle in the Royal kit. See our link to the supply list to find out which tutorial pack it's in. But use that. So to spritz across to get rid of any bubbles. But again, that's going to be, the bubbles will be on the back side, so that's not that big of a deal. If you want to know how much glitters you have, if you hold up your stir stick, you can kind of get an idea of how much you can see the yellow of the stick behind it, to see if you wanted to add more. If you add too much glitter, it will make the epoxy, it'll compromise the integrity of the epoxy, so your piece may never get completely solid. And it's just a fine line between how much is enough and how much is too much. Okay, so, and if you have any questions, feel free to message me. So I'm ready to pour this. This one doesn't seem to get too hot because it's actually pretty thin where it is. But some thick molds, you have to pour in sections, because if you poured the entire thing, it just gets too hot and will burn itself. So this one, I've had a lot of luck with it not doing that. So all of the letters on this mold connect, so it's really cool when you fill it up, it just fills itself in. And if you get a box in the future from Amy, she wanted me to let you know that the mold may be similar, but it may not be the exact same mold. So if you need to check to see how much epoxy to mix up, then you can just check out my other video that's in this group that shows you how to fill it up with water and check for the quantity. And then that way you don't overmix or undermix. I mixed a little bit more. I mixed 120 because I measured about 100 last night in water. And so any of the little overages pieces that I have, they'll just flake off when I pull it out. So I'm not really worried about being super, super neat. And that's one of the beauties of the project. Alright, so I'm just going to throw that extra away. So I really overfilled it. But all of that will flake off. Like, you can just peek it off when you demold it. So that's how that works. So if you want to kind of tap it, you can try to get some bubbles that might be on the front. But because we're going to cover the front, this is really an easy project. I could spritz with alcohol, and I could come back in a few minutes and spritz some more. And that'll pop the bubbles that have come to the surface, just to help the back look a little bit more decent. But again, this is the back side of the mold, so not a lot of people are going to see that. All right, so we will see you on Sunday. And if you want to wait to demold it, you can. You really have to kind of fight with the mold to get it off, but wait until that mold is good and solid before you start yanking on it, because it will start to move it and warp it and stuff. So this really needs to be done Friday night and left alone until Sunday. All right, thanks. Bye, guys.